dear friends, here is Alon טהורי, a document consultant. In this video, we'll learn what a fictitious invoice is, and more importantly, how to defend against it. We often hear in the news about a person caught because they weren't cautious enough and caused damage of billions of shekels, etc., etc. So once and for all, let's learn what it is, and mainly how to defend ourselves so we won't get hurt. So think practicality. This is an invoice that doesn't describe a real transaction when there are three types of fictional accounts. The first invoice is the effective one. The classic, what does it mean? It doesn't reflect any economic activity that actually existed. There was no peace, no employment relationship, no contact between the two sides. This is an invoice intended solely to reduce tax liabilities. The second type, that's the inflated effective invoice. Truly there was work, truly there was peace, but money was not swallowed. In other words, I got a life expense invoice of $500,000. Okay? In reality, the deal was only 100,000, and I actually paid just 100,000. In such a case, no one would recognize even the real part that actually was. They would just reject the invoice. The third invoice is the most dangerous one. This is an invoice, factual alien. Today we will learn how to defend with information. A strange, fictitious invoice describes a situation where someone actually provided me a service, and I actually paid him, and everything was wonderful and all was well. Until the moment I discovered that the person who issued me the invoice wasn't the same one who did the work for me. Yes, pray. There are many such cases where a person performs work
and he gives me a receipt,
like coming from another company, and then when I come to a stand of friends, really look, I paid, I was on the good side. He has a certain uprooted cleaning, and I was his girl checking him out, and everything is wonderful. But why won't you recognize me in my lab? Here's talking about thousands of shekels and sometimes even millions. But the answer is that the same fictional invoice is foreign. As long as the authorized person hasn't issued it, it hasn't been legally issued, and if it wasn't issued properly, then you can claim what's found in it. Okay, that's it for the bad news. How do we defend ourselves? What can we do? In a few simple steps, it can be completely avoided. Not the same problem, even if eventually it turns out that this invoice is indeed foreign. But you have taken all the steps I'm telling you right now. Mommy will raise his hands and say, listen, you did your part, you did what you could, you can't ask for more than that. Speeding up the steps. So, first thing we need to invent, as we said, moss cleaning at the source to make sure the company is indeed active. In addition, we're asking for a sample of an invoice, the same supplier I work with, and all this before I start working with him, guys. An important note: before I pay a single shekel to that supplier, I open a file, an example you won't be able to see. Here on this site, I open a card, and there I write the supplier's details, and I'm asking for the cleaning approval of the original screen in bookkeeping regarding a travel screen. Additionally, I will request an invoice example that already exists for him. Of course, check. I need a confirmation on the account to verify that the account I'm transferring the money or writing the check to is indeed that person. Additionally, I also request to see an identity card of the same person and check. In the case of a company, I check if the person appearing here is also the same ID number that appears on the invoice, or in the case of a company, the candidate that appears to me here, is he indeed authorized to speak, or is he a person authorized to issue an invoice? And to conclude, of course, I ask, in the case of a large company, for approval of Ochets, guest of account. From the other side, that the signature of that person is indeed binding the supplier, the same person I'm dealing with. I want to reassure, it's not necessary to do this with every supplier. And each invoice, our recommendation is with doubts. You have management activity of 10 to 20,000 shekels at an external level. It would be right to do this entire procedure. So I'll bless you not to encounter any factive reckonings, but if you do, reason accordingly. Good luck.